All right, guys, thank you all for joining. I know it's a Saturday evening, and so we're very thankful for having you all here for an amazing event. You already saw you had the opportunity to test some games, and now you also have the opportunity to hear about the creation of one of them. But first things first, before we talk, we will be paying attention to Sebastian and his story. Just the first thing, a few are basically with this event launching a series, the Austrian Game Dev Night, in which we intend to create a bridge between Austria and Poland with a focus on indie development to bring in developers from two different countries and designers to exchange their experiences and also seize opportunities to network, to speak with each other, and hopefully also to create new experiences. So when we thought about the idea of the Austrian Game Dev Night, Frederick and I, Frederick being one of the organizers of this event, the first person that I thought about was Sebastian. I met Sebastian 2 years ago at a class at university on UX design in video games, where he already made a great impression on me. And a year later, we got to know each other better at a game pitch. I went on to become an educator. He went on to become an indie developer. And when Frederick and I were conceptualizing the event, the first idea I had, we have to invite Sebastian, since also his game has been going through well, a great period of success, being funded, and also receiving a lot of traffic in the community. So this event, and before we start, wouldn't have been possible without the Austrian Cultural Forum. So I'd like to give it up for the Austrian Cultural Forum for making that possible today. A round of applause. Thank you very much for making this happening. Being also the first and only cultural institution in Warsaw to have such a committed interest in game development and bringing people together. All right, but enough about us, but to why you're all here, which is Sebastian, and I'll give it over to you. So applause for Sebastian.
Hello, everyone. I'm very honored to be here. So thanks for the great introduction, Benjamin. And also, Benjamin, so during the same course, Benjamin got notice of me. I also noticed him because of his way he is talking, way he's presenting and everything. I was like, I have to meet this guy in person. And yeah, now we are great friends. And yeah, it's really great to be here, to see Warsaw. And yeah, so let's start with my story. So I'm Sebastian Uitz, and yeah, I'm 31 years old. I'm from Carinthian in Austria, which is right at the southern border next to Italy. I was born there and grown up there, so I'm not a big guy of traveling. And I'm currently the CEO of Fire Totem Games. So we funded our indie company this year, and we are working on a webbing journey, which you had the opportunity to test and which I will talk about a lot about during this presentation. So, some words to my education. So I was educated in mechatronics, basically. So I visited a higher technical school. Then I did my bachelor's and master's in the field of mechatronics. And then a few years ago, I decided I need another master's degree, and therefore, I started at the University of Frankfurt, the Game Studies and Engineering program. Work is quite simple for me. I worked 8 years at Infineon Technologies Austria AG, which is a semiconductor manufacturer. Some might know it because it's all over the world. It's quite a big company. I worked in several departments and ended up as a firmware designer after my master thesis. And yeah, I was 5 or 6 years firmware designer. I was writing simple C coding, programs. There was a lot of ISO standards, a lot of checklists and overhead that you had to do. And at some point, it was boring. And I needed a change. I needed to do something different. And yeah, I'm a gamer since I can hold a controller. I grew up with Super Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, all the Nintendo classics. Then went over to GameCube and PlayStation. Played a lot of very, very much of World of Warcraft still to this day, trying out all the new expansions for a few months at least. And then, of course, I played many indie games over the years, which influenced what I like and what games I want to produce. And yeah, at some point, basically 2017, I was at a point in my life where I was like, okay, I love video games, I know how to program. Why not combine both and make a video game? And that's exactly what I did. I went to Google, asked Google how to make a game. Google told me use Unity, and then I went over to YouTube, watched all the YouTube videos, stumbled over Brekkies, watched all of his videos, all the way back to the first, and I really got into Unity. And this course on the right side, how to make a tower defense game, which is 28 videos, everything from gameplay to the main menu. This was basically the starting point that got me the whole picture of what the game needs and how I was able to combine this. And then I was ready to make my first game. I was like thinking about mechanics, style of game, what I want to do, and I ended up with this simple game called Rotate Game. It's a great name. I was very, very good at naming my games at the beginning. And I don't know why I tried to make an Android game as my first game. It was like unnecessarily complicated. Worked on it for 2 months. Each day after work, I came home, was working on the game until I went to bed. And at some point, I was about to release the game and was like, okay, I need a name under which I release my games. And I came up with the name Fire Totem Games. Some resemblance to World of Warcraft, which I played during that time. And looking at the game right now, I have to say it's still a really good game. I put a lot of work in there. It has everything it needs, but the game literally has no downloads because I did no marketing. Just a few friends downloaded it, and afterwards I felt I was a little burnt out after working on this game so much. And I took a little break, but then during 2018 I started doing game dev again and did some tutorials, got better with Unity, and at some point I told myself, okay, I want to do a game jam, I'm ready for that. And the first game jam I did was the Ludum Dare 43 with the topic Sacrifices Must Be Made, and I made the game Village of Sacrifice, which performed quite well. I was doing everything solo, so the graphics are like complete shit. It's like what I was able to draw back then in the 48 hours alone. And second game jam was the Brekkies game jam, where I made this lone survivor game, also alone. And after that, I started working together with other people. Basically, I had the problem at the beginning that I was not sure if my skills are good enough to pair it with other people. So would I drag them down because I'm not experienced enough? So that's why I tried to do it myself the first 2 times. And then I was like, okay, I can do that. And then I started working with others, with some random people from the internet. And I did quite a lot of game jams, 31 in total as of today. Down there are some of the early game jams, game jam games I did. And during 2019, I made the decision to someday work as a full-time game developer, because that's what I love, that's what I like. I was not sure, or I did not know that I'm that creative, or that I like being creative that much. But during the games I developed, I found that out, especially lately with all the social media stuff. It's really something I love, and it's so completely different to what I was doing at my old work, because I was just sitting at my computer writing firmware, and you have no connection with the users. And as a game developer, you get to see people play the game, have fun, you get all the great feedback, and it's just so fulfilling to see people have fun with what you created. And so that's our itch.io page, and quite a lot of games up there. Some are really great, so just check it out, Fire Totem Games on itch.io, and play a few of them. And after all this, or after I made the decision, it's quite a funny story how I came to my second master program. I was at Infineon at work and having a coffee with a friend of mine, with a work colleague, and I was talking with him about my latest game I was developing, doing game studies in Klagenfurt, and I was like, what is game studies? There's a master program about making game studies in engineering. I was like, we have that in Carinthian? It was like, he was from Brazil, so a Brazilian guy had to tell me that we have a master program about making games in Austria. And I was like, okay, checked out the website and found out that I have 2 weeks to apply. I then had to ask my boss and my now wife if that's okay if I do that, because I had to reduce my working hours. But it's, yeah, it was a great decision. I loved it from the first day. It's complete night and day compared to my old bachelor's and master's program, because there it was very technical. I liked it, but the passion was not there. And in Klagenfurt with the video games, I'm a passionate gamer. All the professors there are passionate gamers, and you have so many topics you want to talk about, and you're really sad when the lecture ends because you want to continue talking about Witcher, Zelda, whatever game you're currently playing. And the goal for me was not to get another master's degree, because I already have one, that's more than enough. The goal for me was to get in contact with the Austrian game development scene. And that's basically what, in the end, I achieved, and I'm now here because of all this, of all the decisions I made. And yeah, I started my master in 2019, before COVID. The first semester was normal, and it was a great time because of all the people you met on the university. We had this Klagenfurt Game Labs where we met each week and coded together or did some game studies, lectures or topics. And yeah, then COVID happened during the second semester, and it was tough for everyone, and it changed everything. So everybody was at home, especially I was at home because my company said home office for quite a long time. And like everybody, I had motivational ups and downs. And at first it seemed cool being at home, but in the end it was, yeah, more destructive than everything else. And I worked on some game projects. So the first two are game jam games, and then we made, together with a few colleagues from my university, we decided to make games we make our own game jam, but 1 month long. So we worked on this game for exactly 1 month, and also the Marktstraße was planned to be worked on 1 month. It was 3 in the end. But we tried to grow together or learn together and make bigger games than just 48-hour game jam games. And this one is actually really cool. So that's one of the better games we created. And yeah, but I still had my ups and downs, especially for Marktstraße, which took 3 months instead of 1. And that was then beginning of 2021. And what I then decided in May of 2021 was that something has to change, and I put myself 4 goals. First, learn new game dev stuff, because I love to do tutorials, and I had like a backlog full of topics I wanted to look into, and I decided I have to start doing them. Then I knew that it was important to market your game, to get in contact with other game devs, and the platform where game dev is happening is Twitter still, and the goal was to be more active on Twitter, and then also get in contact with other game devs, which is kind of happening on the same platform, and most importantly, do it consistently, because getting consistent, making a habit out of it really changes how you work. And yeah, back then I called it Tutorial June, and the goal was to do a different tutorial about whatever topic I like at that day, and then post the results at the end of the day on Twitter, and then interact with the comments and everything, and see what other people are doing. And yeah, this was the first tutorial I did. I had very few experience with 3D animation, so I started off with, okay, how does this 3D animation works? How is the blending working between the different walking and running states and everything, and jumping, of course. And then, next one. Oh, there it is. And then I gave the character a shield and the sword, and there was like this, I think animation layers it's called, so that the feet are animated differently from the hand, and you can still run, but the hands are doing different stuff, also attacking, and I think the head is also looking at the statues, if I remember correctly. And then I played around with terrains and how to attack and whatever, and the skyboxes and yeah, all the stuff that belongs in there. And yeah, then I did some other topics like pixel shader with outlines. Then I did soft body physics. I know, just yeah, spaghetti being flung around. Then I also looked into how is water made in games, how to write a water shader. Then some cross physics. So basically Unity has a tool for that. And I just tried it out and see how the class is reacting to wind, to character collisions. And then I made a quite fun project of slicing cubes, or in this case, some wooden planks, I would say, yeah. And also did some more interesting or satisfying stuff like this one. It's just going on forever. But it's all physics driven, so it's not an animation. It's the same thing as slicing this, but the video is cut in a way that it looks like it's running in circles. And yeah, this is also where our game A Webbing Journey was born. Basically, during the last days of Tutorial June, I started working on procedural animation, which is basically how the legs work for the spider in our game. And this was the first post. This was the end of the first day I worked on this. This was everything I got running, which was like, it's not enough. And I decided, okay, I have to do more. And then I invested another day and another day to make it even better, and made it able to walk on this wobbly floor and have the black placement correctly, and also the body tilting to make it more realistic. And this post got the most likes and comments of all of the ones on during Tutorial June, and which motivated us to continue working on the game. And yeah, now we are switching over to A Webbing Journey. And basically, I think, is this the trailer slide? Yeah. So please play the trailer, which was the same as you might have seen out.
Be a spider. Explore lush islands. Become a web designer. Swing around. Solve puzzles and quests. Unlock fancy outfits. Make new friends. And meet your spider date.
Okay, perfect. So that's the trailer to A Webbing Journey. It's quite a step up from what you have seen in the GIFs before, but we will go through the development a little bit in the next slides. But overall, what is A Webbing Journey? A Webbing Journey is a wholesome 3D adventure game featuring a cute little spider. And you could also think about it, if you have played Webbed, which is a 2D spider game, it's often compared to Webbed, but our game is a 3D version of it. Or you could also say our game is Webbed meets Grow Home. So only if those names of games say something to you. And down there are two more recent screenshots of the game. And yeah, you have seen you can build webs and swing around and explore lush islands. And the main goal of the game is that you are going on a spider date. So the whole game is on a wholesome, cute, relaxing side. There is no combat in the game, no violence. Because during the time we started working on the game, I was really into this wholesome games like A Short Hike. I played The Journey. I played Omno. Yeah, all the games that are more relaxing. Right now, I really like A Dorfromantik, which is an amazing German game from an upcoming indie studio. And yeah, that's what influenced our game from the art style. I don't know if somebody played Sable. That's basically where I got the inspiration for this outline shader. And yeah. And okay, the goal is to go on your spider date, and you want to bring a gift to your date, and in our game, it's a bouquet of flowers. So you venture out on your journey to collect the most precious flowers out there, and during this journey, you go through different islands. Like if you played the demo, you saw that we have this more wooden-related or forest island. Then we have a desert island. Then it's planned to have a jungle island, and so on. And on these islands, you do quests for other spiders, and as a reward, they give you flowers, or they give you some cosmetics you can use. And yeah, there's also lots of things to explore. So the game is, each island is open world, and you can go wherever you want. You can build your spider webs wherever you want. You can build fancy spider webs, nice spider webs, or you can just go crazy and mess up the whole island. We have some really funny screenshots and videos on our Discord server of people playing, and yeah, I saw the red one at the end. Yeah, it was like really crazy, but there were more crazy people out there. And yeah, so back to Twitter, back to the start of our game. It started to evolve during tutorial June, and as already mentioned, people liked it, and I continued working on it. So back then it was just me playing around with this idea of having a spider, and the first thing people asked was, can your spider, it's not technically a spider, it only has 4 legs at the moment, can your spider walk on the wall? And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. Took me quite some time to get it working and get all the special cases like this more steep angles looking kind of okay. And yeah, as soon as I was happy with how it works, I just added 4 more legs, and then it was really a spider. And I was able to climb around this weird shapes that I just put in there to test it out. It was, as you can see, it's very slow. I was very proud about the leg animation, but in the end, everybody told us during playtesting, the game is too slow, and we increased the speed of the spider to a point where the animation is not visible anymore at this point. But the game feels great to play, so you have to make a compromise between what you really value about your game and what the players want to have. And it's often that the players are the ones that are right, because they are the ones that, in the end, pay to play your game. And yeah, during the early development, I continued posting daily on Twitter, at that point. TikTok comes later. And I continued to post daily because it was good that you have a goal each day, that at the end of the day, I have to show something to Twitter. And on the other hand, it was cool because people then liked it and gave feedback, which motivated me again for the next day to continue. So it was like this positive feedback circle. And yeah, after that, first impressions, the game, I decided the eyes look a little weird because they are very static, and I implemented like this wobbly eyes or goggly eyes. And the spider got these emotes because I don't know why, they're just evolved somehow. And then the spider was relocated to a new playground, to the first real island, where there are like this, yeah, I don't know if you can call that trees, but this structures. And then I implemented this swinging mechanic, and then also the web building, which yeah it's quite similar to what you experience in the final game, but the controls were all over the place. I was like, I need a new feature. What's the next key on the keyboard that's free? Okay, let's take that. That's how the whole controls evolved. And the first time we presented our game, nobody could really play it because it was too complicated, and we had to rework the controls 2 times. And now it feels a lot more intuitive to build webs, to swing around and everything. And yeah, this was also then the point where I decided I need to grow my team, because I'm good at programming, at designing the mechanics, implementing it, but I need somebody to do the 3D modeling and level design, which is where Manuel came into play. He's a friend I met at my bachelor's program, and he taught himself Blender during COVID, and he focuses or specializes in low poly art. So that's why most of our games look like this, because he is good at it. And I also took Michael into the boat, who I met during a game jam, I think 1 month before COVID. And he's a very experienced musician with over 20 years of experience. And he's responsible for music, sound effects, and also the story and dialogues in our game, because I did not want to do that, and I told him he has to do it. But the dialogues, I don't know, if you have played them, they're really funny and cute, and he's really doing a great job with coming up with these dialogues. And yeah, basically I got those two in the boat because I got contacted from Johanna Birka, who is very well-known female in the gaming industry, in the games research, from Austria, from Graz, and also big in VR research. And I had a course, a lecture from her at the university, and I got her attention during the lecture, and at some point she saw our game and was like, you have to pitch this game or submit the game for the Subotron live pitch, which is a live pitching competition from Austrian Game Devs. There's this student category where also Benjamin pitched his game, and we pitched our game in the game prototype category, because some of us are not students, so we thought, okay, we pitched there. And yeah, as soon as she contacted us, it was like, okay, the game suddenly feels real, or before it was just like a playground, trying out mechanics and everything, and then suddenly we have to pitch it, then you have to think about what's the gameplay look like, what mechanics are in the game, what's the story, and everything from the story is then evolved from there, because we had to do it. And that's something that is really important in game dev. As soon as you have a fixed target or a fixed milestone you're approaching, things suddenly start to get done. So before that, it's just we play around, we try a little bit of this and that, and as soon as the next event or whatever is coming up, you're really focused and get things done. And yeah, in the end, we won the Subotron live pitch in the game prototype category. Another great game won the student category, which was not the one from Benjamin, but the game was just amazing, that one. So we will also see it later. Questions we will answer after. Yeah. Okay, after our success at the Subotron, we decided to extend our social media reach from Twitter to TikTok, because we saw lots of game devs being successful on TikTok. I then spent I think 1 or 2 months getting used to TikTok, maybe getting a little bit distracted. But at some point I said, okay, we really have to start doing it now. And this was the first video we posted. So all the videos are done by me. The first videos where the voiceover was also done by me. So a lot of people commented about my English sounding German. So it was a lot of effort to record all what I want to say, all the text. And yeah, the videos were performing okay, but we put way too much effort into the videos and got not enough out of them. So yeah, the motivation was tanking, and yeah, we decided to not continue and just posted a few videos here and there and focus on other things like getting funded. So we managed to get a local funding from the KWF, Kärntner Wirtschaftsförderungsfonds. It's a funding for innovative ideas, and we pitched our game, and the funding was basically because it's Carinthian funding, and my 2 colleagues are not from Carinthia, only I got the money. But I was able to work on the game full-time for a few months. After that, I got an office in the Lakeside Park next to the university, got a lot of support from the university, also when it came to visiting events in Austria and also the Gamescom, which we'll see in the next slides. And a lot of progress was done because I was finally able to work full-time on the game and commit every hour of my workday. And yeah, the game evolved a lot during the first few months because we attended several events. Like on top left is the Austrian eSport event, then we have the Button Festival in Graz, we have the Level Up in Salzburg. So those 3 events were 1 week apart, each of them. So that was like a super crazy experience. We got feedback from the first event, had 1 week to implement it for the next, got feedback again, 1 week to implement the feedback, and that was also the period of the time or period where the spider got faster and faster until nobody complained about it anymore. And yeah, this one is a little bit later at the Vienna Comic Con, so they had also an indie area there, and we managed to get a spot. And yeah, we also went to the Gamescom in 2022. We had this one single booth, like this 1 square meter, which costs like crazy much. The prices are super high, especially for indies. It's hard to afford, especially if you take into account that you have to get there and to have to sleep somewhere and eat, and yeah. But it was a great success. We had so many people play the game. We met some funny guys in costumes. Also from another great indie game called Fall of Porcupine, a German game, quite successful. And yeah, after the Gamescom or during the end of 2022, we decided, or it was always the plan, to support the University of Klagenfurt, the game studies and engineering students, with their internships, because we have this master program, but we don't have any gaming companies in the area where people can do their internship and really work on games. So most of them are then right now working remote for some company, but you're not learning that much if you're working remote, or they're working in some IT department and try to get the recognition for their internships. And we decided we take 2 students. First of them was Noel into our team, which he also plays a vital role because he's also a founder of Fire Totem Games. So in the end, it turned out very well for him. He is responsible for UI UX design. So some of the feedback I got already, I will forward to him. And he made the new UI. It looks like this. The old one was super ugly. It worked, but it was not nice. And he also reworked the Steam artworks, the thumbnails and everything. And yeah, it looks better now. And we also had another student who did his internship, who was Hannes, who joined in beginning of this year. And he worked on some gameplay mechanics and some features I did not have the time to implement. And he also helped us a lot, but he is finished with the game and doing his own stuff now. And yeah, Noel was also responsible for what came next, or what started in March. We were at the way home from an event in Graz, and he pitched the idea that we should do TikTok videos again, because yeah, we have to do social media, TikTok is working great, let's do a video again. And there was like, yeah, okay. And then I tried to postpone it, and for 1 week it was like, do a video, and on Friday I was like, okay, I make a simple video, throw some AI voice over it, because I was not in the mood of recording my own voice, and we had 0 expectations about the video, and it went completely the other direction. So the video blew up like crazy. First it was a few thousand views, which was like, okay, cool. Then it was no traffic, and a few hours later the video started to generate like views like crazy, and it was like, what is going on? It was Friday evening. I was playing Rocket League with a friend, and after every goal I was tapping out to see what's the new view count and follower count. It was like growing and growing, and yeah, the video had 3 million views at the end of the weekend. Has 4.2 million right now, and when we posted the video, we did not have 1,000 followers at all. We were like 920 or something. I was like, took a screenshot when we hit 1,000. Was happy that we reached 1,000, but on Monday we had 25,000. So there was complete different ballpark, and this video alone, in the end, got us over 30,000 followers. So, which is crazy that one video can do that. and we had to post videos for 2 months afterwards, almost each day, to reach another 30,000 followers. So the work from 2 months could be done in 1 day if you get lucky with the algorithm. So that's like super crazy. And here are some screenshots of our latest videos. So this is the big video. Then I have pinned 2 other videos. This one is also working quite well and was posted 3 weeks ago. And those are the latest videos about our fluffy spider. So I progressively increased the fluffiness of our spider. So it was not in the demo out there, but our spider will get fluffy. And yeah, we played a little bit with our viewers because they said they want to have more and more. And I was like, okay, I give you more. It feels a little weird to do this with our spider. But to be honest, I really like, I don't know, this blue one compared to this blue one. I like it fluffy better now. It was a weird idea, funny idea, but in the end, this one feels weird to me now. And yeah. And what also happened during our TikTok time, a lot of people were asking, can I play the game on PlayStation, Xbox? Is it a Roblox game? We get that comment way too much. And yeah, many people ask, can I play it on mobile? And we were like, no, it's too complicated and everything. And we have all the controls on the gamepad. How do we match them or map them on a touch screen? How is the game running on the lower end phones? And we're like, it's not going to work. But we were like, okay, we tease our followers a little bit, made this video where we just made Android build with Unity because it's easy to do that. And we just connected via Bluetooth a controller and played the game. And people went nuts over that video. And yeah, we then decided, okay, let's give it a try. Let's implement one feature at a time. And in the end, we really managed to create the game on mobile. So some of you, I already saw, played the mobile version of the game. And we released it on Android and also iOS, which was easier than I thought. And yeah, the biggest challenges were the performance, because especially on the Android side, you have like phones that cost like 50 euros, and people expect the game to run on them, and you have all the high-end phones. High-end phones is not a problem. iPhones are all the way are quite good at playing the game, so we had like the lowest iPhone that can play our game is like a 5 or 5S, and we tested it on that, and it was running nicely. So no problems. If we lower the graphics a little bit, it was running like butter. So that was easy. Button mapping was an issue. It was tricky, but we managed to get all the functions that you have on the controller also on your phone without it being in your way. But people are requesting a remapping function for the buttons, which if we continue working on the mobile version, we will definitely implement it because it makes life so much easier for many people. And yeah, we had to optimize our game a lot for all the Android phones. And in the end, the optimization also benefited the PC and Switch version of the game we had, because the Switch is also not very powerful, and all the optimization we did also helped to get more FPS on the Switch version of the game. And yeah, the latest topic now is then Instagram and YouTube. So we try to upload videos on those platforms, but they got no traction at all. And we were like, okay, we focus on TikTok. TikTok is running great. But we decided to catch up with the videos over summer, so this year. And we posted all the videos we had on TikTok on those 2 platforms with 2 videos per day to catch up with TikTok. And then so right now we are posting all videos simultaneously on all platforms. And YouTube was working quite good at the start as we did that. Instagram was always like not performing at all, like, I don't know, 200, 300 views on the videos. We're like, is it worth the effort? But it turned out yes, because 2 weeks ago, Instagram started to recognize our game. The algorithm got a hang of it. And yeah, we have one video which has like over 300,000 views on Instagram, which we thought we will never have. And this video and other videos that worked very well, like the Fluffy Spiders, got us from 1,000 followers to over 6,000, almost 7,000 at the moment. And yeah, we're having a great time on Instagram as well. YouTube is meh, not really. YouTube is weird when it comes to view numbers. I can tell you later. I can show you some interesting statistics. But yeah, okay, something should be there, but okay. Yeah, those are some latest screenshots from Instagram with 6.3K followers, and the latest videos with, yeah, 10,000 views. I don't know how much this has. This one down here has, I think, 30,000. And yeah, YouTube also gives you lots of views, especially the latest videos perform very well. And we're also getting subscribers, but the videos are not, as soon as the videos hit 10K views, it's like the hard limit almost. So it's very hard for our videos to get past 10,000. Some hit 12,000, but they don't go further. I don't know why. Because the videos have great engagement, people are commenting on all of them that they want to have more fluff and whatever. So I don't know why the algorithm is not liking the videos. And yeah, that's basically where we are right now with the game. And yeah, talking a little bit about the challenges we had during the development. So first challenge, of course, was the spider movement, which, yeah, it was very tricky to get into how to do it. And we improved on it like several times. And for me, it's still not perfect. There are still like some edge cases I don't like. But for those of you who played the demo, or for other people who play our game, they say it's perfect. And for the developer, it's never perfect, but at some point you have to understand that it's good enough for the people to play it. And the other big challenge for me was the web building. This also got several iterations. And there are still some points I want to implement for the web building. But I think it's at a great position, and it's really a great dynamic system of building the webs and leveraging or encouraging players to be creative with our game. And we have some great screenshots of some latest web builds. We also have, I should have included that, somebody was building a wind turbine in our game. It's something I never saw before or was thinking about possible, but he managed to combine some objects in the game world with these airstreams that are in the level to create a rotating lily pad. So it was like, okay, cool, that's possible. And yeah, other challenges, especially because all of us are working in full-time jobs at the moment, is finding time to work on the game. So that's always the problem. If you're starting out in game dev, you're most likely doing it in your spare time, in your free time. And finding time to work on it can be really tough, especially if you have like two of my colleagues have kids and other responsibilities. So they are really trying hard to find the time to work on the game. And also getting funded is a big topic. We were lucky, or I was lucky to work on the game for this extended period of time. But we are now also looking for publishers or investors for the last stretch to finish the game, to really put more time into the game. And yeah, another challenge, touch controls. It was like quite late challenge. And marketing, social media. So everybody knows that marketing is super important when it comes to your games. And it was tricky to get into. So I was not an expert at TikTok. I created, I don't know, 120 or 150 videos for TikTok right now. And the first videos were shit, but you get used to it, you get better, you find your style, so that's really important. And yeah, in the end, just do it and you will get better. So that's That's what I can say about this. And the biggest challenge is actually finishing the game, because it's really hard to finish the game. You get started, you have all the cool features, you find new features or new things you want to implement, but at some point you have to cut down and stay realistic and make your goals and stick to your goals to really get the game out, because that's what matters, because in the end you want to earn some money most likely with your game, and yeah, without releasing it, it won't happen. And some learnings, so as already mentioned, it doesn't have to be perfect. So as a developer, you want to each pixel to be at the right position, have the shaders look perfect, but for players, 80% is good enough, or 90%, so you don't have to push it to 100. Then the topic social media is tough. You don't know what the algorithm is doing at all. Some people magically understand what they do and have videos that are blowing up every time, but for indies, it's really tough. And yeah, you have to, that's a point later on, you have to find your style of videos. So our videos are like this, more on the funny side, we are always having this voiceover from this AI generated voice, because it's easy and fast and really helps to come up with the game idea, video ideas. But if you have other games, if you have a more action heavy game with like shooting, you need a different style for your videos. If you have a more relaxing game, so there are some games out there who have no voiceover at all, they are just having their gameplay speak for themselves or their visuals and have some cool soundtrack or some cool sound in the background. But in general, for social media, it's never too early to start, because it takes time for your videos to generate views, to build up your community. And you cannot do that 1 week before launch or 1 month before launch. We have to start early and have to get your game out there and show the game to the players and their time. So it also takes a lot of time to make the videos. Don't underestimate that. The videos are 30 seconds short, but it takes at least 1 hour from starting the video editing or creation to really posting it on all platforms. So that's nothing you have to underestimate. And yeah, also when it comes to never too early is share your early development of your game, be it on Twitter, be it on TikTok. Share it with the community, see what the people think about it, get the feedback, and from the feedback then comes also the motivation to continue working on it. Then people have crazy ideas, really, really super crazy ideas, which you may not think about yourself, but maybe the right thing for your game. And if you post your game in the early development, then you really have the chance to implement it. If the game is already finished and you have like, oh my God, that's such a great feature, then you cannot implement it anymore, because it would destroy the whole gameplay loop. And yeah, one of the most important things is be consistent. So really have your consistent loading schedule. If you do it every day, do it every day. If you do it two times a week, stick to your 2 times. Don't skip it. Push yourself to really do it. And yeah, future plans for our game is, of course, finish the game, release it on Steam, and then before we do that, we want to find a publisher to support us, because we have quite a lot of big following on Instagram and TikTok and co, but the publisher can do even more. So they have their connections, they know how to market the game, how to get even more wish lists on Steam, and we want to have the best possible launch for our game. Self-publishing is an option, but there's so much to do, and having a publisher, especially if the publisher is then also funding the development. Sorry. I'm talking too much. 40 minutes talking. So let's try to go on. Publisher, if they give us money, we then can work full time on the game and give it the love and effort and time it needs to be perfect at launch, and not release a half-finished game or a game which is not at its best. And after we release the game on Steam, we also would love to port it to console, to all the known platforms, because people are requesting it, and it should also, especially on Nintendo Switch, it should have quite a big audience. And the plan would then be to work on future games. So we don't have any concrete ideas on future projects, but it might be that we most likely will work on the Webbing Journey for quite a long time after the release, especially if we port it. And then also the bug fixing and everything that's going on after the release. But we have, like already mentioned, we have 31 Game Jam games we can use and make a real game out of them, or come up with some new cool ideas. And yeah, that's basically everything from a Webbing Journey. Now, in the last section, I will talk a little bit about the Austrian game dev scene. But before that, I will take another sip of water. Okay. Yeah, Austrian game dev industry. So we have a report online. Unfortunately, it's from 2019. It's quite old. It's before Corona, before COVID. So a lot has changed, most likely. But they promised me to have an updated report next year with some new numbers. So we can talk about what was 4 years ago. So we had 90 companies with a total of 500 jobs and the revenue of 25 million euros. So basically, all the big companies are responsible for that. Smaller indies might not have that much of an impact. That's the distribution over Austria. So 50 of the companies were located in Vienna, 16 in Lower and Upper Austria, 12 in Styria, 9 in Tyrol and Salzburg. And down there, that's Carinthian, that's where I live. So nothing was happening there. And right now, in 2023, we have 2 game studios. We have Fire Totem Games and we have Dirty Paws Studios, which are colleagues of mine from the University of Klagenfurt, which you will see also in the next slides. And yeah, that's what was in 2019. And talking about the Austrian game dev scene, you have to talk about the pioneers of Game Dev Austria, which is a corporation or an organization that is there to support the game developers, especially the indie developers in the Austrian scene, connect them to the industry, to industry experts, answer them with all the questions they have about how to market the game, how to fund your company or how to found your company, how to get money, and all the legal stuff. So they have, you see on the next slide, they have a big Discord server where you can go and ask all the questions, and you most likely get a response within the next hour or something like that from somebody that knows how to, I don't know, get legal advice from somebody about the game. They are also responsible for industry research. In there, they state that they want to have an updated report every 2 years, which is not what they promised. But yeah, I hope we get a new report next year with updated numbers. Would be quite interesting. And they're also responsible for representing the industry inside of Austria, but also outside of Austria. And I think Benjamin was also in contact with them for this event. And yeah, might do another call to get more info on that. And yeah, so here's their Discord server with a few of the channels. We have announcements because they are doing monthly Discord calls with all kinds of different game dev topics. Like one call was, I was invited and somebody else, and we talked about TikTok, how we got started, what we learned from TikTok. But they also have local meetups in Vienna each month, which we cannot attend because it's like 4 hours away. And yeah, they are very quick at responding if you have any questions. And yeah, great resource and everything. And here are some schools and universities and other organizations that provide game development education in Austria. We have in Vienna, we have the HTL Spengergasse, which is kind of a colleague, like a after-work colleague, where you get all the game development information. We have the SAE Institute in Vienna, which is a bachelor in science, I think. And then in Carinthian, we have the University of Klagenfurt, which is a master program for MA or MSc. In Salzburg, there is like tons of courses, bachelor and master, for game design, game art, game development. And in Styria, there is the TU Graz, which has quite a great game development community. And there are, of course, other schools and universities that offer game-related courses or extracurricular activities. And yeah, now, in the last part, I want to talk about some fellow Austrian game developers and their games they're working on. So we have Rarebyte, which is quite an older company. I think they founded 2006, are located in Graz, and they are currently working on VR Screwed, which is like this really cool game concept of you are having your spaceship and you're flying around. So the person that is sitting here is flying around, and others can sit on the cannons and shoot, but they also have to run around and repair the ship. So it's always running between those two split screens and quite chaotic. So it's really like Overcooked and or Faster Than Light. FTL, I think, is quite similar to this concept. But they also worked on Game Dev Tycoon, which some might know. And their latest game they released is a Rogue Glitch Ultra, which is quite a cool roguelite game. And yeah, next one, Bongfish. So some of you already mentioned World of Tanks when I talked to them. They are working on, I think, environmental art for the game and level design, but also on the Microsoft Flight Simulator and many, many other smaller games for events like the Ski Challenge, or I know it's also a surfing game, Smurf Village, and yeah. So they are doing a lot of contract work for other companies. I don't know if they have an own IP, but they're doing a lot of game dev stuff. Then we have Broken Rules, really great company in Vienna. They have, like, if you look at the art style, all the games look amazing. The games are like award-winning games, especially the last one, Gibbon, Beyond the Trees. I really recommend playing this game. It looks great. The mechanics are great to play, and there's a very, very impactful story behind it. So they got all kind of prizes, also an Apple Award or something like that. Really, really, really great. We have Mipumi Games, which released their current game Howl, I think a few days ago. They have like really innovative art style in the game, which they called, I think, liquid ink. It's really, so how this thumbnail looks, also the game in-game looks like this. It has this more watercolory style. They got, I think they got funded for this innovative technology, and also worked on Flower Collectors and Lion Song, which are also award-winning games. And now we are coming to the smaller indie studios. So those before were bigger companies. Now we are at the game that kicked out Benjamin, and at the Supertron, yeah. But the game just looks great, has a great concept. You are like, it's a multiplayer game you play alone, basically. So what you're doing, it's in VR. You are recording your actions, and you have several positions, and you can then interact with your recording from the last time. And you have to pass objects around to then shoot at or defend against enemies. And really great. Also very successful on TikTok with their videos. We have Dirty Paw Studios, which are also located in Carinthia, in Klagenfurt, working on Electronic Alps, which is like an electric installation simulator, like more an educational game style, but really, really cool, really great implementation of all the mechanics. They also had this Project Octopus, where you play an octopus underwater with some very innovative controls. We have Byte Parrot Solo Dev, who is working on Slope Crashers, which is a mix of, it's an arcade snowboarding or skiing game, mixture of SSX and Mario Kart, basically. So you have really funky jumps and items to shoot your enemies or whatever, like in Mario Kart. We have Stuffed Wombat, which is solo dev, but he's like known for working on so many prototypes and showing GIFs on Twitter of the prototypes within short time periods. And his most successful games were Quomp, which is an homage to Pong, but you are not playing the pedals, you're playing the ball. And it's a one-button game. It's simply black, white, and gray, but it's an amazing game. And I think like 4 or 5 euros, not more. Really great game. The IP is not owned by him anymore. Atari bought the IP and released Quomp 2, or is about to release it, I don't know. And his latest release, which was like 1 month ago, Mosalina, is his turn on an immersive sim. Very simple game, not very difficult, developed in, I think, less than about 6 months. It's all about, it's just random levels, or you get random items for the levels, and it's interesting to come up with solutions to use the random items for the next level again, because every time you play a level it's different, and every time it works out somehow. I don't know how he managed to do that, and he worked on many other games alone or with a small team of friends. RubyDev, Tiny Rogues is a game I just big streamers blew up kind of, but it's still in early access, but it's a game, costs like 5 euros and 100% worth the money. I was playing that game way too much during the event, but without presenting our game. Accidentally Awesome, Road to Force, also pixel art game with very unique game mechanic. Took a little longer to develop, 7 years in total, but it was from a single developer, and life happened and the game was delayed quite a few times. And we have Dungeons of Hinterberg from Microbird, which is awesome looking game. It's Austrian related game where you are in a village on your vacation. You can, during the day, you interact with the NPCs, and then you venture out and fight monsters in the dungeons. Want to be free? End Cycle Versus have a Mega Man style game. Then we have Forbidden Folds, Valiant. So I have to speed up a little bit, sorry. They have very amazing game, cute colors, great mechanics. Unfortunately, the game did not sell as well as I would have wished for them. And we have an Hydra games, Chonky, which is like Diablo style game with some cute elements. And of course, many more upcoming indie devs in Austria with amazing games. These are just few of them, and that's also the end of the presentation. Thank you for your attention. Yeah.
Thanks. So, how many members in your team, and are you going to increase the amount of your team?
Right now, so we founded the game with 4 people, and we are currently still those 4 people. And
you want to maintain this not that big team?
For us, for this game, we think that we can manage to do it with our team of 4, because everybody has their field of experience, and we are, how to say it, we connect good with each other, or we fill the gaps that the others have and should have everything. And later on, for future projects, there is of course the option to extend the team, but this then also means having the money to pay people afterwards. Yeah, so that's also always an issue.
Okay, that's all. Thanks.
Hello, thank you for the talk. I want to go back to the part about Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. So first question would be, how do you link your game when you're like do marketing on TikTok? What links do you leave on TikTok? I know there could be a link to Instagram. Maybe you can somehow gather emails, or you give a link to Steam. I don't know. And the second question would be, like, can you share the info about conversion rates? So you mentioned you had a video which had 3 million views on TikTok, and how did it convert into wish lists or emails or whatever? Thank you.
Yeah. So for the first question, the link we have on all platforms is basically Linktree, which then redirects to all the different links we have. Like first link is Steam page, second one is the mobile version, and then we have like conversion rate. It's kind of tricky. So we have quite a lot of views, quite a lot of followers, but it's somehow not translating over to the Steam numbers I would like to have. So I can say that we have over 10,000 wishlists now, and with every successful video, every viral video, we get a spike, but it's not in a ballpark that I was like, okay, we get like 1 million views and we get like 1,000 wishes out of that. So the conversion is quite bad, which I think has several reasons. So first of all, or especially on TikTok, we have quite a big community in the Philippines, Southeast Asia, and people there are playing on their phones, and they are not having a PC, don't have a Steam account. So all those views and followers we get there are not important for Steam or going to Steam. And also the way, or the how to say it, the route from TikTok to Steam is quite a long one, because TikTok you're using on your phone, and if people find the link to Steam, then they open up Steam in a browser which they are not logged in, so they have to log in the browser, which they don't know their password most likely, and then they forget about it. So that's always a little bit of a problem. Also, TikTok is quite annoying when it comes to links, because we still have the normal personal account, the creator account on TikTok, which is not allowing to have a link before you have 1,000 followers. So before 1,000 followers, you cannot put the link in there, which also hindered us with our viral video, because before that went viral, we were below 1,000, and it took a few hours before the feature was enabled for us to put the link. So we might have lost some people there. But overall, we are getting the wishes numbers. There are games out there, or game devs out there, who have way less followers on their accounts, but have much more wish lists. I don't know how they manage it. That's also something where we would like to have a publisher on board to really help us make this call to action for the people to go to our Steam page and wishlist the game. Okay.
Okay, so you mentioned a few times that you're looking for a publisher, and I have a question. What are the most important criteria for you when you are looking and, let's say, thinking about the publisher's like help? What are the like crucial parts, or like pitfalls to avoid?
Yeah, when it comes to publishers, so first of all, we want to have a publisher that has experience with this kind of games. So that that has released games in a wholesome games category, in a more cozy, cute games category. We don't want to have somebody that's like releasing Doom-like games all the time. That would not be. They don't have the target audience or the mailing list that would buy our games. So we want to have somebody that's really experienced there. Also, what's important is the in German it's stomach feeling. It's how you really intuition. So how you connect with the publisher. So if it's the best publisher, but you're just like you can't stand the person that you're working with, then it might not be the right one. So it really has to be somebody that we can trust, that we really have a connection to. And then it's also, of course, you have the money part what's the cut the publisher wants to have, what are they offering, and how much do they want to have in return. So that's also very important.
Okay, so a follow-up question maybe: how confident do you feel in like judging publishers' ability in marketing? Because you've done some videos on multiple platforms, and how to basically judge if a publisher is doing a good job.
No idea on that at the moment, but we are now currently updating our pitch deck and plan to contact publishers in the next 2 weeks with the updated numbers, and then hopefully get in contact with or get feedback or get back from as many as possible, and then start our discussions with them.
Good luck then.
Yeah, thanks.
You mentioned that you have 10K wish lists, which is kind of decent, I would say. Why don't go with any early access?
So first part, decent. 10K is enough to publish a game. So I think 7,000 is the number where people say before 7,000 you should not release it. Early access might be an option, but I don't know if our game fits this early access theme, because many games in early access are more like in this roguelite area where you have your base game and then you get new features and everything added, and you have this replayability. But our game is more like we want to have this, or we plan to have this fixed story in there that the players play through one time. And on top of that, we also plan to have like sandbox levels where they can just be creative with the spider webs. I was thinking about early access a lot already, but I don't know if it's the right idea for our game.
Of course, depends on the game, because if you said it's more of a sandbox, why not? You always can extend the content. Same goes with the story. Of course, if you won't just play it from beginning to the end, you tired yourself of this project, you want to get rid of it, go to the next one. Could be a bad solution. But if you would like to, because I've seen you also mentioned skins at least, so also maybe you will have some sort of monetization and things like that, more of a service support, so why not?
We don't plan to have a game as a service. We want to have a premium game, so it should be one-time payment of around 15 euros, which is the current price we aim for, and then all the features are enabled. Maybe have some DLCs with extra levels or something, or extra story later on, but we don't plan to have a game as a service.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
So I played the game naturally, and one thing I was kind of wondering about is the spider web mechanic. Specifically, I was thinking about the way like swinging worked, and one thing that I kind of found lacking about it is the lack of web retractability, being able to make less web or more web during swinging. But it's kind of more of a general question I have about how you approached prototyping the web swinging in general.
Web swing in general, so web swinging or all the webs are in the background using a simple spring joint in Unity. So they are like trying to physically be connected or get together until a specific point. And for the web swinging, it was like tweaking those values a lot until it felt right for the speed of the game. And regarding your retractability of the web, so at some point you're out of buttons to press, or especially on a controller.
And especially on mobile.
Also on mobile, yeah. Mobile, it will be even more complicated. But for the retractability, we plan to have a feature in there that allows you to is it called retracting if you shorten the web? I don't know.
Yeah, like shortening.
Yeah, so there will be an option to shorten the web while you are swinging, so to generate extra momentum.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking about. That is planned to be tested soon.
Nice. Thank you.
So many questions.
Okay. I have a question about, because you mentioned sandbox levels. Are you also planning to add a level editor?
It's requested a lot on social media. Right now, we don't have any plans for a level editor, but it would be a nice feature, of course.
Okay.
So maybe in the future, and maybe if we go the early access route, it might be something we can then present to the players and give them more options to play around. And yeah.
Okay.
Good. So I think over there, yeah.
Thank you for the lecture. I would like to ask a question about generally a team and how do you manage the process of brainstorming? Because I'm also working at 3D Aries in the team, and sometimes there are some problems when brainstorming. Like people are sitting 10, 15 minutes. We're not talking about anything, and each of us don't know what to say, and like, to generate some idea. Maybe you have some specifics about it, maybe some, I don't know, maybe this process is how it's actually done in your team.
Yeah, so brainstorming, so in our team, so we have right now 3 people from Austria, including me, but nobody is sitting near each other, so all of the communication is happening via Discord and co. Noel is actually sitting in San Francisco. So he is from Germany, grew up in LA, came here for the master and then went back. So we have somebody over there which has like 9-hour time difference, also funny. But we managed to have our meetings that works for everybody. Regarding brainstorming, it's, as you mentioned, people come late or don't want to contribute, which is often the case with the team. I experience in our team, because this is basically, it's my baby, this game. I'm the one that's involved the most and that want to have it succeed. Some other team members are not that involved and don't contribute too much for brainstorming. And yeah, I don't know any great solution for that. But in the end, you have to find out how to work together in the best way and to maybe find works or topics for the people that are not contributing to the brainstorming, but have some other topics they might be more interested in, and give them more freedom in that direction, that they bring themselves into the game more and come up with more cool ideas or whatever. Yeah. So basically what happened for our game, which was the good direction, was the story and dialogues, which was like basically something I was like, okay, we need some dialogues in the game, but I'm too lazy to do them. And I pushed the work off to Michael, and he struggled at first with that, but started working on it, and now he really likes writing these dialogues and coming up with funny stories and funny dialogues, funny jokes in the dialogues, and this worked out great. If I would have done the dialogues, the game would be completely different, most likely. So try to give the work to somebody, and maybe it fits to them, and they start to blossom in that direction. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, are we done? One final question, Benjamin. Okay. Only one, or?
Right. So thank you very much for the talk, Sebastian. So my question is more like general, also asking for advice, especially in regards to junior developers or emerging developers. You mentioned you've been on so many game jams, you have been working on so many projects until you actually then started working on Webbing Journey, which brings up the question of quantity versus quality. I know a lot of students who that I talk to and are like, I'm focusing now on this project and I want it to be perfect, and it's somehow difficult to explain that there will be a better effect by just putting out consecutively more projects. So if you would have such a student, what would you suggest them, or how would you convince them to just put out more content?
How would I convince them? So first of all, if you start off as a game developer, don't make your dream game. That's what everybody is telling you out there, because you don't have the experience. There are so many things you have to think about, have to implement or work on and whatever. And best thing to learn all this is doing game jams. And what is really important with game jams is, for me, is the time frame you have. So you get your topic, and 48 hours or whatever time frame is chosen for the game jam, the game is finished, or you have to submit the game. And this is really, having this milestone or this deadline really helps me to be productive, to really focus on the game. If I do a game jam, it's 100% game jam. There is no other activity during that time frame for me, except sleeping, of course. I don't skip that, because that won't work in the end. And yeah, to convince the person, I don't know how to convince them, but it's, for me, and I would also recommend it for everybody, do as many game jams as you can. And what I also try at game jams is trying out different game mechanics. Don't make 2 games that are similar, because what are you learning when you do the same? First, do a 2D platformer, 3D game, FPS game, a shooter, do a racing game, do a puzzle game, card game, whatever. Try out as much as possible and understand how those games are created, or how do you implement these game mechanics. And that's, yeah, what really brought me forward, or taught me the most, doing the game jams, and also this tutorial June, trying to understand how things work. And then when you know them, you can combine them into a nice game. And yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So to not have you dry out on the stage, let's give it up for Sebastian. And I'd like to again thank everyone for coming in. Don't leave yet. There will be complimentary drinks for discussions to be here and to network with everyone. And again, I'd like to thank the Austrian Cultural Forum for providing this platform, and also our university, Piatk, for also sponsoring the computers and some goodies over here. So thank you all for coming, and hope to see you at the open bar. Thanks.